Hey bike farmers, thanks for clicking in. This Giant Cypress here is a perfect example of what I suspect is the case for millions of people out there. And that's you've got a bike that hasn't been ridden, it's been sitting in your garage for quite some time, and you're just unsure it's safe to ride or if it's even working like you'd expect it to. The bad news is, it's probably not. It's gonna have squishy tires, you're gonna have some corrosion in the cables, it's gonna cause some sloppy shifting and maybe some weird braking. The good news is it's super easy to wake these things back up. 3 easy steps. You clean them, you lube them, and you adjust them. So that's what this video is gonna be. Nice and easy. You can do this at home. I'm convinced that you don't need to take it to the bike shop. You can fix your own damn bike right in your own garage. If you wanna learn how to do it, you kick back and relax. I'm gonna get started. One of the first things I like to check is to see how true the wheel is. And you can see right there, got a little bit of a wobble. Now for most of us, that's just fine because we can adjust the brakes so it's not rubbing. It's perfectly safe, it's perfectly fine to go ahead and go for a bike ride with it. Like, because I plan on reselling this bike, I wanna make that right. So I'm gonna pop these wheels off and true the wheels. The first step in doing so though, we gotta disconnect these brakes so we can get this tire through the brake pads. These are linear pull brakes, sometimes called V-brakes. And the way to disconnect them is you slide this little guy out like that, and that disconnects the brake system. And to put it back in, it's just that easy. All right, you can put your boot. So, to get the rear wheel off, I like to shift it into the highest gear. That's the smallest cog. Flip open the quick release and the wheel should drop right out. Now I know not everybody has a stand. Usually you won't have to do this unless you have a flat tire or something. I'm just gonna take care of these wheels quick and then we'll get back into the basic tune-up stuff. Again, I kind of hold it like this. That disconnects pretty easily. And then if you flip your quick release open, hold one side and twist the other. You don't have to untwist it all the way, just enough to get past these little safety tabs on the bottom of your fork. All right, up here in the truthing stand, where we tell nothing but the God's honest truth, which is generally just my unpopular opinions. Something that I'm starting to believe myself that seems counterproductive, but it's just been coming up in my feed. You know, this bicycle industry of ours lately has really been struggling. There's so much of it that just doesn't make any sense. The bikes have gotten so overly complicated. The technology's out of hand because it becomes more and more difficult to be profitable servicing them. You've got to invest so much money in inventory to cover the entire product line, have one of every size and color, have something in stock because people, when they want to buy a bike, they want to be able to go home with it. The sales process is so consultative. You know, your sales staff has to be like super educated, just like super nerdy to like know everything about everything because you never know what kind of customer is going to come in. Somebody who's been reading internet forums and knows everything about everything and is really asking specific questions. You don't want your sales staff looking stupid. Then again, a lot of customers, you start talking all the technical garbage, technical garbage to them. They're turned off by that. They think you're talking above them. And they're like, well, I'm not a big biker. I don't race or anything like that. And they just want a basic bike to ride around. And next thing you know, you got some like roided out roadie, you know, selling them, you know, a 12-speed drivetrain. And they're like, I only need 9-speed. So you just never know. And all of the answers in the world, all of the knowledge, all of the answers to all of the dumb questions or even the brilliant ones, it's on the internet, right? And most people could really just buy a bike from the internet and be perfectly happy. The problem is that bicycles need an assembly process. People, you gotta kind of know how to set up a derailleur, adjust the brakes, some basics. And most people don't know how to do that. That was a weird sentence. There's plenty of YouTube videos out there that can explain exactly how to do whatever you need to do, especially on a brand new bicycle, to get it going. I just think that a lot of people, if given the permission, if given the right amount of confidence, it's becoming less and less important to have bike shops, is what I'm saying. And that's an unpopular opinion, because so many people out there are like, save the local bike shops, what a great place. And I mean, yeah, we're gonna need them, but they're folding left and right, because you don't need a lot of them. You don't need one in every town. You know, I know, like my small little town here, it's not a profitable venture, for sure. There's just not enough business to be profitable enough. A lot of people think bicycles are toys and fixing them is a hobby, so it's hard to charge enough, especially with basic bikes like this one. So, all said, I was thinking about this and I'm like, why don't I just do a little how-to video and save the trouble, you know? I'm also feeling guilty that I'm probably likely not gonna be opening my bike shop in the spring. You know, I'm gonna be leaving a lot of people to fend for themselves. I'm gonna try to be available somewhat, somehow, if I can, but I don't know if I'll be able to. And so I'm like, you know, let's do another one of those. You can do it at home. Fixing bikes is easy. Let's show how easy it is. You know, I'm just using Dawn Power Wash here, right? To kind of clean up these wheels, make them shiny and new, like the day it was born. It's like a time machine, this stuff, you know, go back 15 years. And again, you can do this in the bike. I just take the wheels off because I've got the tools here. I've got the truing stand, and it's a lot easier to do. But if you know how to use a spoke wrench and tighten and loosen spokes to make it true enough, you can get a bike wheel really pretty true, or as true as I get these, right there in the bike, using the brake pads as a guide. Typically, I like to clean the frames with the wheels off, but for this video, I'm gonna put the wheels back on and pretend like we're starting with true wheels. Yeah, this bike was really kind of unridden. First thing I'm gonna do is put some air in the tires. Now, everybody asks, how much air do I put in my tires? Just about every single tire is gonna be stamped, or, you know, it's gonna say minimum of 50, max of 85. I have my compressor set to 85-ish. My general rule of thumb is make them firm and go for a bike ride. So that's what we're gonna do here. Don't care how much. Anytime you see a bike with these green valve caps, it means that they're slime tubes. There's like puncture resistant goo in the inside. It's kind of like tubeless sealant in those tubes, which is a nice little warning to your mechanic in case they have to go in there and start. Except we don't need bicycle mechanics anymore. So I've got some Tri-Flow here. I've got the aerosol stuff, but just a little bottle, you know, like this. And really all you need is like a drop or two on each link. Bring that chain right back to life. You know, put a bunch on and wipe it off. And that's all you need for lubricating a chain. It's that simple. Now, let's see here. What should we do? We're gonna loosen this cable. Here's a trick. Shift up into the low gear, all right? And then without pedaling, turn your lever that way, or click it, or whatever kind of lever you've got. And that created all that slack in that cable. And then you can take that loop out, and there you go. So you can see this cable, see how it's kind of like that really light kind of color? That's either some dusty corrosion-y stuff that got in there, or maybe somebody was using T9, Bow Shield T9 wax-based lubricant. I'm gonna drop some Tri-Flow on it. It's a Teflon-based lubricant. PFAS for the win. Okay. I still haven't pedaled. No pedaling. Here's that front piece of housing. Goes up to the lever. Yeah, you can see this. It's very dry. And you just lube your cable, you know, just with whatever chain lube you got. You can squirt it on your fingers and rub it. If you know what I'm saying. Put that guy in its happy home. Send this guy home as well. Then if you pedal forward, it shifts down into your high gear again. That is way more better. Hey, and see how well that's shifting? Okay, you're gonna have to listen for it because I'm gonna demonstrate by noise, but we shift all the way up. Now, without pedaling, I just turn the shifter the other way and see how the chain kind of stops the derailleur? That gets that cable just loose enough. There we go, disconnected it from the other side. All right, get at this one. Yeah, this was very hard to shift before because of all that corrosion or old lube that was in there. Okay, I'm gonna lube down by the cable guide too, off camera. And then if we pedal forward, that drops the chain down. It's really good. Okay, so here's the rear brake cable. Right there. Slide that piece of housing out. Lubricate that guy. And here it is in the front piece. Okay, front brake. It's a little different. You really can only get about this much. You can just drop some lube slowly from the top here, and then gravity and surface tension and the Aurora Borealis effect. The Aurora Borealis was the first female scientist to discover gravity. She was a great bicycle mechanic. And then don't forget to lube your noodle down here, boys. You know what I'm saying. You'll be thanking me later. Yeah, that Neil Young song was about Aurora Borealis. You can see, look at how sad this derailleur is. Nope, that's a reflector. I hate reflectors. I think they're stupid. Because they just loosen up and flop around and get in the way and throw me off my game. Okay, then you might as well reconnect your brake. I'm gonna reconnect the rear brake too. This bike, its brakes are pretty much inactive. You can see it pull the brake lever the whole way. They're just very, very loose. So what I like to do, I like a T-handled 5mm in this case. Oh. All right. You loosen up your anchor, you pull your cable tight. Okay, that's too tight. Let a little bit out, tighten her back down. That's a good amount of pull. It's not great. That's great though. And then you can see this is actually pulling pretty evenly. What I'm looking for here is, first of all, is everything flippity flappity moving freely like the great majestic golden eagle of America. And that's mostly like, did my lubrication work? And yes, it did. Oh, I know one thing that I skipped. If you drop a little bit of lube right here on the pivots and a little on the back, and then do that to this side too. And then if you jiggle it just a little bit, you know who wrote that song? Ace Frehley from Kiss. Gotta jiggle it just a little bit. Rockin' after midnight. That's not Kiss either. I don't think we have to do anything more to that brake. That is good to go. I want to rock and roll all night and party every day. Yes, I do. Okay. There are a million sirens going on outside right now. I don't know if you can hear that in the background. Live right by the interstate, and anytime there's an accident, our emergency vehicles go out. So same thing here. This one's a little loose. We're gonna tighten the cable just a smidge. Okay, so you can see it's pulling a little bit more from this side than this side. So there's these tension screws. And if you want to get your brakes to stop rubbing, a lot of times these tension screws are your answer. And I just tighten this one like a half a turn, and it just brings the whole system over this way. And now they're hitting nice and equal. So we've established a quality. All brakes have been adjusted equally, and everything's moving free as a golden eagle. Majestic golden. Love it. I like to take some lube and lube all the pivots on the front derailleur. And you don't want the rear derailleur getting jealous of it. So don't neglect your rear derailleur either. It'll grow up and harbor resentment against you. Got some Behold furniture polish here. One thing I always like to just double check is that bolt right there. It's good and tight this time around. It's always good to check your stem bolts too. This one's always a little trickier to get to because of these stupid dust caps. Ooh, this bike was really assembled well. And just for the sake of good content, we'll run through these gears one more time. That's really good. So let's just say you're shifting up. Okay, see how it was a little bit slower that time? This is a barrel adjuster. You can tighten your cable, and if you tighten your cable too much, right? Hear all that grinding? It's like in between gears. It just shifted up 2 gears. Okay, now I'm trying to come down. It's super slow. Loosen the cable till it stops making noise, and then a little bit past it. And then you're perfect. All right, so if you tighten the cable, it'll overshift that way. If you loosen it, it'll overshift that way. You want it right in between. So the front derailleur, or the front shifter, isn't indexed. It's an analog system, so it's just pulling cable. That said, Here's the cable. You can see how loose it is. This is in the most relaxed position. So I'm gonna grab the cable back here, loosen the anchor bolt, pull down on that cable and tighten it. And then tighten my anchor back down on the tight cable. That's quite a bit better. It's still not perfect, but I got another trick up my sleeve. This here is a barrel adjuster up on the shifter. And if you turn it lefty-loosey, it backs it out and essentially tightens the cable. Just makes that piece of housing a little bit bigger and stretches the system. Now that cable's nice and tight. Just a little cosmetic thing here. We got a rusty noodle. It happens to a lot of people, you know, as they get older, end up with a rusty noodle. And that is it for this bike. It is tuned, cleaned, lubed, adjusted, ready to roll. It's good for another 20 years. It's better than brand new. I don't know, what else can we say about it? It's perfect. And thank you for watching till the end. It always fills me with gratitude to think that there's thousands of you out there watching these videos every time I drop them. And frankly, that's enough. However, there's other ways for me to make money at this than just by selling your attention to advertisers. And you can do a couple of things. Right here in YouTube, you can click the Super Thanks button or join as a monthly sustaining member. You can go to bikefarmer.com and you can buy merch. Or just down below this video somewhere, there should be ways to click through directly from here. There's a link in the description. Go to Amazon and shop on my store. I've got affiliate links down below. Buy stuff through there. I get a cut from everything you buy there. But for yourself, the number one thing you should do is click that notification bell so you and your bikes can stay tuned.